I played Irelia for 10 hours, bro, she's not that hard. Her mains are known for boasting how hard she is, and I'm going to put that to the test. Disclaimer, I have a lot of general game knowledge, including Irelia's mechanics even before the challenge. However, this is not a sweaty looking type of gameplay, it's mostly limit testing. I stink enough already for playing her at all. Heading into my first game, I had to face Renekton. I generally hate playing versus him, but I did not feel very threatened as Irelia, although I half expected him to show up with a marching band of axes or whatever that is. My W gives me insane damage reduction, and if I survive the initial burst, I should be able to heal off on waves and outrate him right after. This seemed like a solid game plan. Laning wise, I was doing fairly well. We both got ganked here and there, but top lane mostly remained as an island, as usual. But then, again, teamfights came. Ideally, I would like to split, since they need to send at least 2 of their teammates to stop me, creating pressure on the map and allowing my team to play 4v3 in most scenarios. But the ADC was again scooping, allowing the enemy team to easily stomp 3v5s or 3v4s on mid lane, forcing me to group and fight. That's where a lot of problems arose. Fighting alone is easy, I control almost everything, but team fights are something else, especially when you play versus a CC stacking enemy team with insanely high DPS and plenty of ranged champions. There were some highs and plenty of lows, but this gave me an important insight into the holes in my knowledge. I almost had no idea how to approach team fights efficiently. New game plan was dominating not only my lane, but also abusing weaknesses of the enemy team to win teamfights too. Now I had a better game plan, knowledge, and expectations of how the game would go. I also realized there are some transferable skills between Irelia and Yasuo in terms of how dashing works and how fake safe your champion is. Initially, it looks like you have a lot of dashes, but then you realize 99% of them are towards the enemy tower. Guess my dashes come with a built-in GPS malfunction, which doesn't help much. With all that, I went into the second game, only to find myself playing with Dark Harvest instead of Conqueror. Instantly, a brilliant idea flashed in my mind. Let's play AP Irelia. I will have a weak laning phase, but my teamfight issue will be resolved. And then, I forgot the idea in 2 minutes. Started building AD and lost miserably in the early game. Any second I started to make a slight comeback, I got ganked and thrown back to my place. Woo! Hell for playing Irelia. Despite having a fair bit of good moments, I never truly succeeded. So far, I was 0-2 for the start. In the next few games, I mostly had only laning phases. My mechanics were getting sharper, more precise, faster, and I knew my limits better than before. I also had an idea of what my power spikes looked like, and when they happened, enabling me to play more confidently. One thing remained a huge mystery to me though. What the fuck is this ult's hitbox? Sometimes it hits targets you would never imagine, but then it goes through some of the most obvious ones. Stuff like that, some mechanical errors here and there, and sometimes my enemies playing well made this challenge a lot more interesting. For example, in the next game my opponent made me feel like Cho'Gath absolutely giga counters Irelia. There are only so many games I have lost purely by being outclassed, let alone this badly. Getting Bork changed the situation a bit. But nonetheless, a Cho'Gath encounter felt like a Dark Souls final boss fight, and I looked like someone who just skipped the tutorial in hopes of I will figure it out anyway. That game single-handedly changed my perspective on how good my Irelia actually was against a decent opponent. Humbled to the ground, I hopped into another game, and holy fuck, I had an insane performance throughout the game. Despite being the first one to die after a blunder, the comeback was nothing short of an absolute banger. In this game I realized I actually liked playing Irelia, not in terms of the lane or the champion design, but in terms of the high skill ceiling. She might have a fairly low skill floor, but her skill ceiling is one of the highest in the game, allowing me to limit test infinitely in terms of champion mechanics, and I enjoyed that a lot. Lightspeed movement? Done. Crazy 1v2 scenarios? Done. Mind games? Done. And this predict? Mind blowing. unless you are Sheiko. He was not impressed and called it a very obvious one. Sorry for disappointing you, buddy. Nonetheless, this game was destined to be lost. So it happened. We lost. And the damage graph speaks volumes about the game. For the next games, I had a lot of rise and shine moments, as well as do I even have hands scenarios. Sometimes I would make mistakes not even a silver player would, and other times I would become a mechanical demon with insane fog of war play potential. I had only two extreme poles, ragdoll or be ragdolled, no in between. I regret none of that, except for one camera slip. Looks like I clicked on the minimap and absolutely shattered my chance to save the game. I swear my mouse has a mind of its own sometimes. That felt very sad. My OBS messed up my audio recording and I can show my live reaction to that. I also had moments I was proud of, but that one camera slip was too painful. Nonetheless, I still dominated my next game. I defeated the Troll King as if I were Darius and rushed into the final game of this challenge. I got a perfect opponent for the last game, Gwen. I expected her to be a bad matchup. I looked up the statistics and found Irelia has roughly a 46% win rate against Gwen. It was truly a time to test my skills. Plan? I know Gwen has a bad level 1 wave clear. I could capitalize on that and abuse the first few levels to snowball out of control. At this point, I know a good pattern for level 1 fights. Damage the first 3 minions equally, swiftly kill all of them with Q, then Q the opponent if you can beat them at level 1. This way, you get a stacked passive and you can initiate a fight without sacrificing the wave. I also baited her Q, so it was a super free winning trade. On my way out, I set up the same trap. Damage a minion or two so I can go back in again from a distance. She fell for it, moved off, and I reinitiated the fight. I capitalized on that. I always had an item advantage, along with level advantages. Level up timers, Mr. Fundamentos. By the way, check him out, great guy. With all of the advantages, I tried to zone her away from the tower. I denied her away and put her further behind. She worked through in a bit, but I could still pressure her jungler, push waves faster than she could, and I also had a better sustain. I would lose so much less time and health clearing the waves. I just kept her under the tower like that, cancelling every attempt she made to recall and spend gold. She was worried about missing a wave when losing the tower. All she had to do was to find the TP angle, but she refused to do so. With some patience, my lead grew large enough to dive her completely. Roughly 5,000 gold spent versus 1,500 gold spent. She had only a recurve bow and amplifying tome at 14 minutes versus my Bork and Negatron Cloak, plus the level advantage, and the dive became super easy to pull off. I got the kill, she missed the wave and I got the tower. From that point onwards, there was nothing she could do to stop me. Remember the recurve bow? She came back with full Nashors. Yeah, she still had to use TP. I decided to spread my lead across lanes to make teamfights easier for me. I put emphasis on bot, purely for the tower, nothing else. With all that lead, I dived Kate, got the tower, drew pressure on bot, wasted plenty of their time, then went back to top enemy to pressure even more of them up. Even picking up Atakan in the meantime. It was the red one, so with the free GA I went a little stupid bro. But with all that lead on my team, the game was free and I ended the journey with a solid win. Not gonna lie, the challenge was funnier and more interesting than I anticipated. Playing specific champions for some time to master them turns out to be more addictive than some of my previous masochistic challenges. How much better did my Irelia become? Is it legit? Judge me below. Is this a series you wish to see continue? Let me know. Do you want to see how I approach your main champion? You know what to do then. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.